Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. My brother and I were so excited, we're delighted for you honoring our invitation for the book launching. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. We're very grateful. So today marks a historic day that we're bringing out a book that we're going to use to transform our country. It's a book that I call a manual because this book has a lot of information that we can use to transform our mind and the people to be able to build a great country. And I say this, which I have said several times when I talked about this book. I said that our country is full of great people, which the world have proven everywhere that we are outside the country. And we have been doing great that people talk so highly of Nigerians and other Africans. So I think it's time for us to come back home and help to rebuild our country. In this book, my brother and I took our time to talk about some of the problems, some of the behaviors that have become impediments towards our progress. That's why we call this book Attitudinal Change to Increase Productivity. I know it's widely said that you cannot judge a book by its cover, but this particular book is exactly what the cover is all about. The title of the book is Attitudinal Change to Increase Productivity. And when you look at the cover of the book, you will see a picture of the city. This is an actual picture. It's not a picture that we took from the internet. This is a picture that I drove to a city in the western part of the world and took a picture of it to show that we can build our city to look as beautiful as this one. So this is a picture of New York City in there that was taken live by me. So, and like I said, we're great people and we can build a great nation where people all around the world will come to see the beauty of our country. So in this book, we talked about some of the things that we can avoid so that we'll be able to increase productivity in our various workplaces. We'll go to chapter 3, where I addressed the executives, the managers, the CEO, the permanent secretaries, the head of states, the top government officials, military and law enforcement officers, heads of schools, and heads of churches. These are great positions. And when you're in those positions, you know you have earned it, either through your level of education or the characteristics of your behavior that people love so much that they put you in that position. So it's a position that is worth emulation. And in this position, it's not a position of arrogance. It's a position where you tell people how to behave. You're the living manual that others are watching. And believe it or not, even your dressing are being emulated. So it's very important that when you're in this position, that you have to abide by the rules and regulations of your company, so that others, your subordinates, will also behave very well. Take for example, you're an executive and you have an opening that you need to hire someone for a position. It's not good to practice nepotism, which is hiring a relative that is not qualified for a job, put the person in a job that they are not qualified. Because in so doing, what you have done is to deprive someone else of the job that they can get. So it's always good to hire people that are qualified for a job. Do not do what the African countries call who you know, because that's what is killing our country. We have to hire people that are qualified so that they can do the job right. Because once you employ someone that is not qualified for the job, you have compromised that position, because the productivity in that position will be low because the person is not qualified for the job. So look for people that are qualified, not just your relatives or people that you know. We talked about sexual harassment in here, my brother and I, in certain offices, actually many offices in the country. Sometimes for people to go to a higher position, they have to have a relationship with the boss. Those are not acceptable behaviors. Those are what are called sexual harassment, because you took advantage of someone just because you're in a higher position. Do not do that. These are behaviors that become impediment to our progress. We talked about abuse. You have financial abuse and you have emotional abuse. When you're in a very high position, always remember that people that are working under you are there to help you to achieve your goal. If they're not there, you won't be able to do all the jobs that are required in the office. So you have to treat them with utmost respect, just like you would like to be treated. Because human beings are just like the computer. When you give a good input, you get a good output. But when you give a bad input, you also get a bad output. So when you treat your staff very well, respect them. Pay them when they're supposed to be paid. Nourish them. You will find out that the productivity will be high in your company. And then you will get very, very good output because you have put in good input. And always remember that everyone is very important. From the highest person in the office to the lowest. Even the people that are taking out the trash in the office, they're very important, because if they don't do the job, the office will be very filthy. So my fellow Nigerians and other fellow Africans, please get this book, read it, find out the things that we have to do to change certain behaviors that are causing problem in our society. I know we tend to blame the government all the time, but don't forget that the people in the government are relatives. They are brothers, or our sisters, our in-laws. So some of the behaviors that we are seeing in the positions that they have, with the corruption and the bribery and everything, these are things that they learned when they were growing up from the grassroots. So if we change our behaviors from the grassroots, you will find out that by the time people grow up and get into those government positions, they have already become law-abiding citizens, and they'll be able to function in a law-abiding way in their new positions. So, this is a very important book that I want everybody to get. The politicians, please, it's very important that you read this book. The heads of schools, it will be good if you can include this into your curriculum. Like I said, that is good to always start from the grassroots to train law-abiding citizens in our country, so that we can groom more people to be law-abiding, which will help us to increase productivity in our country. We touch so many areas, so it's always good to get your own copy so that you can read them by yourself and know exactly what you as an individual need to change, because we are all supposed to be part of that change that we're praying for in our country. You could see the size of the book is very small, because I know that one of the major problems that we have in Africa is that a lot of people do not read. That's why we condensed the information. We went straight to the point instead of putting a lot of information that are not necessary, so that we wouldn't bore people. I mean, people that are reading it will not be very bored reading it, so that it's straight to the point from the beginning to the end. It's very handy. You can put it in your handbag, you can put it in your briefcase, and you can finish it in a day or two. So my brothers and sisters in my land, please get this book. You can Google online if you're outside the country. Attitudinal Change to Increase Productivity by Declan Onuoha and Glory Onuoha-Ezemma, and order your own copy. You can also go to the bookstores and purchase it wherever you are. My brother and I will do our best to make sure that the books are in the bookstores all across our country and even in other African countries. We will also provide an email address that you can email us to order your copy. And we will also leave a phone number of the publisher. We'll make it public so that people can order this book. Once again, we truly appreciate your presence today. And we encourage you to do your best as you patronize us with this book. To whatever you can, we would actually appreciate it, because it will help us to write more and more and to be able to reach more people so that we can help to transform our country to be a better country. Once again, I truly appreciate your presence. My brother and I will remain grateful. Thank you so much for sharing this great day with us. May God bless you and your family. Thank you.